My name is Victoria LaRocca. I'm from Washington Township, New Jersey, and I am 21 years old. I'll be 22 this year.
You are a cheerleader.
Yes, I am. I'm a cheerleader.
How old were you when you first started cheering?
I was 5. My dad actually started. He kind of gave me a push in because I tried soccer and t-ball and I was doing cartwheels on the field. So that was great. And my mom didn't want me to because she was a cheerleader and she didn't want to be a crazy cheer mom, which she's not. My dad's the crazy cheer dad for sure. But yeah, I started, and actually the first time I cheered, it was in the middle of the season. So that weekend they had a competition, and I learned the routine the day before the competition and went out there and performed it and killed it. And my dad said, all right, this is what she was born to do. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. I started cheering at Jersey Pride in 2008. I loved it. I was on their first Junior 4 team, which was amazing. It was so fun. I then made their level 5 team my freshman year of high school, which was huge to make level 5, especially as a freshman. It's a really big deal. I got my full that year. It was I was ready. I was on my A game. And then after I made level 5 that year, I also made varsity as a freshman my high school year. And then I got hurt really bad, so bad that I had to be in a wheelchair, and it sucked. And then that's when I had to stop cheering, and then I went back to it again when I was a senior. But I was in a wheelchair for a long time. It was about 6 months. I couldn't feel my legs at all. At one point, I went to a competition when I shouldn't have. I was pushing my body to do things that it shouldn't have been doing, and my whole entire body went numb, from my neck down, and I could not feel my arms. I couldn't feel my legs. I was just laying on a stretcher, and they were touching me everywhere, and I couldn't feel it.
Was that mid routine that happened?
So it was at the very end of our routine. Our routine was a mess. We were all a mess that day, and actually only my stunts were in the air, which is funny because I was the one that was really hurt. But I finished the whole routine, but I was telling my coach that I couldn't feel my body throughout the entire routine, but something was just pushing me to keep going, and I don't really know what it was. Maybe God, who knows. And then I ran off the mat. I had the energy to run off the mat, and I just collapsed near a near curtain. It was a black curtain. And the paramedics came over, and they were like, what's wrong, what's wrong? And I just kept on saying, I can't feel my body. I can't feel my body. I can't feel my body. So then they put me on a stretcher. They moved me to the back corner so I had my privacy. And they kept on feeling me and touching me, my legs and my arms. And I kept on telling them, I can't feel you. I can't feel you touching me. And I just kept on screaming and crying. To not feel your body there was the weirdest feeling in the world, for sure. And then obviously I got rushed to the hospital and tons of medication, which they thought would help, that just didn't. And I was so young that surgery wasn't even an option. And I also just kept on pushing myself. Once I got feeling back, I was like, okay, I'm fine. I can go, I can cheer, I'm fine. It's nothing. But obviously it was way more than what I thought. I mean, at 14, 13 years old, your sport is your world. It's everything to you. It was your first love, really. So to have someone tell you that you can't do it anymore and to take it away from you, you can't really wrap that around your head at 14. I was in 7th grade, and actually my best friend, who's still my best friend, we were doing a basket toss, and she was doing, called a kick full, so it's a kick twist, and you throw her up in the air. And as she was coming around, it was her first time doing it, and she swung her whole body. So I turned my back, and she landed right directly on my back. And it knocked me down. I felt a shift in my body that was weird, that I can't really describe. And I stood back up, and my coach looked at me, and she was like, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine, because I was just always fine. I hated the attention of getting hurt. I don't like that at all. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I can keep going. So I kept going throughout practice. I went back home. I was obviously in a lot of pain, and I wasn't telling my parents, because you tell your mom and dad that you're hurt, they take you to the doctors, and the doctors write you a doctor's note and you're out for weeks at a time. So I just kept on pushing myself and pushing myself and pushing myself. When it came to one point where we used to do a carpool with a couple of girls in the squad, and one of the moms had to actually carry me out of the car because my body was so weak, I couldn't walk to my house. And she literally pulled in the parking, like the driveway, and it was like a couple feet away and I couldn't do it. And then she told my mom, like, she's not okay, like something needs to be done. So 7th grade is where it all started, but I didn't stop. I just kept pushing myself. So in 7th grade, I was in a wheelchair for like 3 months, and then I was like, okay, like, hey coach, come condition me, like I'm ready, like I'm good to go. But in reality, I was never good to go. When I was in 7th grade and it originally happened, and I was only in the wheelchair for 3 months, I just went back to cheerleading again, and everything was great, and I thought everything was great. And that's when I was able to succeed and make that level 5 team and be a varsity cheerleader my freshman year of high school. But once my injury came back, like full throttle, because I was on level 5, I was on varsity, so both teams just totally like broke my body down. Like it was too much. Like I was going from school to cheer, home, sleep. School, cheer, home, sleep. Like I never had a break. So honestly, from 7th grade to freshman year, I wasn't really healing. I just kept on pushing it. So once my body was like, enough is enough, I had to listen because I literally couldn't move my body anymore. So once I was in a wheelchair for the second time, and it almost felt more real, because when my first time I was in the wheelchair for 3 months in 7th grade, I could feel my body, but it was weak. Like it was there, but it was weak. Freshman year, my legs were just not there. And that was 6 months I was in a wheelchair. And I visited so many doctors, and so many people just kind of was like, I don't know what to do for you. There's nothing we can do. Like, you're going to be like this forever. And that's something that I was just not okay with, and my mom wasn't okay with. And they just kept on saying, well, if she's going to go back to cheerleading, she's going to end up not walking down the aisle on her wedding day. You're going to be rolling her. And like, my parents could just not handle the sound of that. So I remember sitting in the car coming home from one of the doctor's appointments, and my mom was hysterically crying to me. And she was begging me, like, enough is enough. You have to stop. Like, you can't do this anymore. And I was like, okay, I guess I can't do it anymore. So we actually eventually found a chiropractor who everyone usually doesn't like chiropractors. And we were very against it at first, obviously, because you think of a chiropractor and you just think they're going to crack your back and you're out. And I swear, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to walk again. And he knows it. I still go to him now. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am. And he giggles and he knows. But every episode, every time I woke up in the morning before I went to school and I couldn't feel my legs, I'd have to go to him and he'd adjust me, and I'd walk out of his office feeling every single muscle and bone and body part on me. So honestly, I still deal with my back to this day. I still have to take care of it in a different way than other people would have to take care of their bodies. I still go to the chiropractor. If I wait too long, I'll have an episode and I'll wake up and they won't be completely numb, but they'll be weak, and I'll have to like massage them and get them moving again. So after I finally stopped, I thought, cheering my freshman year, I thought that was it, really. So my high school cheerleading coach told me that, okay, that's totally fine, but I know how much you love cheerleading. You can still be on the team. You just don't have to stunt or tumble. You can just be on the football team and basketball. Obviously, All-Star was my dream, and that's all really I cared about, but high school was so much fun too. I was with my friends. It's all about having fun. I loved keeping the girls positive and keeping their spirit alive. So I said, okay, perfect, sounds good. So then my sister came into the picture, and I was a senior and she was gonna be a freshman, and she's cheered her whole life too, but we've never been on the same team together. And she's worked her whole life to make varsity her freshman year, just like me. And I said, okay, if Abby is gonna cheer for Washington Township, then I have to too, but not halfway. So I knew if I trained my body the way it was supposed to be trained, I'd be able to stunt at least, and I'd be able to backspot her, which would be incredible. I knew my body couldn't handle the pressure of tumbling ever again, but I knew that if I strengthened my entire body from head to toe, I'd be able to stunt. So I talked to the coach, and she called me and she said, "Are you sure you want to do this? Like, are you positive that you think you're okay to do this?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm doing it. And it's not just for me, it's for my sister." So we found out that she made varsity, and my whole family freaked out. And I made varsity with her, obviously. So then my senior year, I was able to cheer, and we won conference, and it was epic and amazing. And then after that fall season was over with Township, the owner of Jersey Pride gave me a call. And at the time I was coaching Baby Bells, which is like a 3 to 6 year old team. They're so cute. They don't compete. They just go out there and have fun, and you could just pinch their faces off. It's so cute. But she asked me, "I need you to fill in for someone." And it was on my sister's team at Jersey Pride. It was a 4.2 team. They were called Independence. And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Yeah, the girl doesn't tumble. She just stunts. You know, we just need you to show off your stunning skills and your dance skills, and you're good to go." And I was like, "No way." Like, okay, like, let me talk to my mom and dad. So I talked to them, and they were like, "I don't know if you should do this. Like, don't you think that's pushing it a little bit?" And I told them how great my body has been feeling with stunting and dancing and jumping on my high school team. Like, what's the difference, you know? So I was able to not only cheer with my sister my senior year of high school, but I was able to cheer with her on an all-star team my senior year too. So I was able to graduate being on an all-star team, which was epic and something that I just never thought could even happen. So to have the owner of Jersey Pride make that a reality for me was amazing and unforgettable. When I cheered my senior year with my sister, obviously it was epic, and it was something that I'll never get back again, and I'll never regret. Like, it was something that I just always have with me. It'll always be in my heart. It'll always be in her heart. And honestly, us cheering together made us best friends, which is crazy but awesome at the same time. But obviously, I was on a level 5 team when I stopped, and 4.2 is a lot lower than 5. And I mean, when you're on a level 5 team, you're competing and you're trying to get a bid to Worlds, which is the biggest cheerleading competition in the world. 4.2 team, they can't go to Worlds. So I feel like it reminded me why I cheered, like my senior year with my sister. Like, it reminded me why I started. It was like I did it because I loved cheerleading and I didn't take it for granted. But when I was on the level 5 team trying to get that big bid to Worlds, having fun didn't matter. It was working hard and getting the bid. But being on the team with my sister reminded me that, like, no, it's not about that at all. It's about enjoying what you're doing and having fun while you're doing it and falling in love with the sport you fell in love with when you were 5. So my freshman year, when everything happened, I actually had to be homeschooled. So the teachers would come to my house. It was actually called homebound because my mom didn't do it. Like, the actual teachers from the high school would come to my house, like, every day. There would be a teacher there for like an hour, and they would teach me the class that they learned that day. So obviously I had friends that came over and visited me, but it was definitely hard. And just my closest friends really came over to see me. I mean, who wants to hang out with a girl that can't move, you know? Like, it's sad to say that, but it's true, you know? It's hard and it's tough. And I remember my boyfriend would come over every day, like, at the time, and walk me. Like, I had to do like a lap around the kitchen. So he would hold me and he would help me move my legs, and we would take laps around the kitchen together just to get my body moving, just to get my blood flowing, and then sit me back down. And my friends would bring over like little like goodie baskets to make me feel better with like magazines and movies. And my one friend Madison was over every single day. But as much as I had so much love and affection and people there for me, which obviously makes awful situations so much better. I was so in my head. I needed to go to therapy. Not just physical therapy, my mental state was not good at all, really. Because I kept on asking the question, obviously at 13, you don't know. So I keep on asking, why? Why me? Why did this happen to me? And I remember one night I woke up I fell asleep early that night, and I woke up to both my parents, and they were fighting. And my dad kept on saying, why her? She loves cheerleading so much. Why did God pick her? And my mom kept on screaming back, we don't know, John. We have to stop asking that question. We have to stop asking it. And he just kept on saying, it's not fair. It's not fair to the one girl that loves it more than anything in the world. And to hear my dad that tells me every day, don't say that, or it's okay, it's going to be okay. For him to know exactly how I feel and for him to get it, put everything into perspective for me. Like, as much as adults look like they have it together, they feel what we feel. I mean, I'm his child fighting this battle that feels like it's never ending, and it's his job to let me know that, no, it's fine. It's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. It's going to work out. But he knew that we actually didn't know that, and he was scared with me and wanted to yell at God too. And we're always told never, question the plan in life. But at the time, it was like, why? Why does this happen to me?
So what was the actual diagnosis?
Unfortunately, the doctors didn't really know what to diagnose my back or what was happening. But obviously, the MRI showed that in my lower back, I had, in my lumbar region, I had 2 herniated, 2 bulging. Obviously, that doesn't really get better, and it's herniated discs usually need surgery. But at the time, they just knew that as a little girl, it wouldn't work. And I would go through epidurals and these giant needles getting put into my back, so hoping that it feels better. But it would take away the pain at the time for a couple hours, because I would be knocked out from as soon as it happened until the next morning. But there was never a long-term solution except for my chiropractor. So honestly, they never really decided this is what exactly is wrong with you and this is how we can fix it. It was kind of just, you have messed up discs in your back that probably won't get better. We can't do surgery on it, but do what you can. When certain things happen to you in your life and they're traumatic and terrible, you have to find the good in the bad, always. So obviously, being paralyzed and having herniated discs and bulging discs, it was terrible, and it's not something I want to ever relive again, but I would never take it back. I would never say, I wish it didn't happen, because I am who I am because it did happen. I'm so much stronger. I look at life so much, it's different. Life is just different. The world is different. When you go through tough situations, whether it be being paralyzed or just a breakup or a fight with your friend, it just changes you, and it just makes you really put life into perspective. Ever since I was a little girl, obviously we've been bird fans forever. I mean, they're iconic, but my dad is literally the biggest Eagles fan in the entire world, I swear. He rides for the birds. But when I was little, my mom said that I always used to say to my dad and to everyone that I knew that I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be an Eagles cheerleader. And I don't think at the time I realized what they did. I just knew that being an NFL cheerleader, you made it. You worked your whole life as a cheerleader. And NFL cheerleading isn't really cheerleading. I mean, it's more dancing than anything. If you were a dancer your whole life, that's more of a goal than if you were a cheerleader. But I just thought, you know what? No, being a professional cheerleader for the NFL would be epic, right? So when I was little, I would tell my dad will tell all of his friends, my daughter's gonna be an Eagles cheerleader. And so it's just always been in the back of my head. But when you set goals that are that big, you just never think that they're gonna come true, like ever. I mean, it's very, to me, it wasn't realistic. So when I came to the fact that I was like, wow, I think I'm gonna do this, I think I'm gonna try out, I'm like, wait, I'm actually about to fulfill a lifelong dream that I've been waiting my whole life for. The audition process kind of includes going to the workshops. There are 2 nights. The girls that were on the team the year prior kind of help you, tell you what to expect. They teach you the open call dance, so the dance that you're going to perform at the first round of auditions. So after the workshops, obviously, like I said, there's open call. Then there's the semi-final round. Then there's the interview round, and then there's the finals. Finals, it's like this big, huge production. You can watch it on your TV. You can watch it on the computer. You can watch it on your phone. You can buy tickets to it. People make light-up signs and wear shirts with the girls' names on it. It's like a big, huge production. It's really cool. You get to go out there. You get to wear like a bikini, and like you get judged on your like physical fitness, and then you perform your dance. It's a different dance than the one that you learned at open call, and then you get asked a question. This past year, though, it wasn't a question. You were actually having to state a fun fact about yourself. So my fun fact was that I was paralyzed from the waist down, and I was told I was most likely never going to be able to walk again. And here I was standing in front of a bazillion people trying out for the Philadelphia Eagles. My first finals, the one that I didn't make, unfortunately, I didn't make it that year, and that was the year that they went to the Super Bowl and won, which is awesome. But I didn't make it my first year. But I've never, this is gonna sound really conceited, and I'm not trying to be at all, but when it came to cheerleading, whenever I went for something, I always made it. When I wanted to be on level 5, I worked hard, I made it. I had the skills to make it. When I was trying out for high school cheerleading, and my goal was to make varsity, I had the skills to make varsity, so I made it. When I went to NCAA camp, I was All-American cheerleader for a couple years. I got the Spirit Award every time I went to camp. Like I believe that if you went hard, if you did what you were supposed to do, if you worked hard and you were determined, you kind of got what you wanted, you got what you deserved. So when I went to finals my first year and my crowd was amazing, I was petrified, I'm gonna be honest. I look at the video and I'm like, wow, no wonder why I didn't make it. My confidence was not there. I literally looked scared out of my mind. But my crowd was phenomenal. Like they announced my name and I had the biggest crowd there and everybody knew it. The whole entire arena would just light up, and it was all the people that cared about me, which is so awesome. But afterwards, hearing my name not being called, it was so, like you would have thought I had lost everything. Like it was just so weird. Like I learned a lot from it, thank goodness, but I wasn't used to that feeling. So after I didn't make it the first time, I literally stayed in my house for a week and didn't leave my bedroom. I was so sad and depressed, which sounds so dramatic. But like I said, when you've worked so hard for something and you know that you feel like you have what it takes and you get rejected, I mean, it's traumatic, it's scary. So the first day after finals, when I was sad, obviously, I wrote up this big long post for Instagram and Facebook, and at the end I said, you won't see the last of me, like I'll be back next year. But as the months grew into the summer, I was like, I don't know if I actually can put myself through that again. I don't know if I can emotionally prepare myself to be rejected again. Like that, I feel like that, it just hurt too much. And as I got closer and closer and closer, every time someone asked me, I would say, yeah, of course I'm trying out again. Like, it's my dream. I would be stupid not to keep on chasing after something that I've dreamed my whole life for. But in the back of my head, rejection was really sucky, to be honest. Like I didn't want to be told yet again that you're not good enough to be here. So it was like a week before open call, and my boyfriend at the time was like, you're not doing this. You're not gonna let yourself not try out because you're scared. You've been wanting this your whole life. And we actually got into an argument about it. He was like, I'm not gonna let you just give up on your dream. And I said, but I'm scared. Like, I should be able to make my own decisions. Like, I'm scared. And he's like, but your decision is that you wanna do this. So why are you letting the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game, right? So I put that in perspective and I say, you know what? You're right. I know how it feels now to be rejected. So if I am rejected again, it's a feeling I already felt. So I'll be more prepared this time. Hearing my name be announced, they call my name and my number. So they say, number 35, Victoria. And I don't come out. Because you're supposed to walk out and you're supposed to wave and like be all cute. And I don't come out. And I'm standing back there and I'm staring. And I remember it. And I'm staring on the stage. And there's girls around me and they're like, Tor, they called your name. They called your number. And I said, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. Because I was listening because they go in order of the numbers, like from 1 to 60. And they call all the numbers that made it, the 36 girls that made the team. And I'm like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. I literally blacked out. And they were like, Tor, they did. They called you. And I stumbled over my own feet. I'm tripping over my feet, running to the center of the stage. I'm hysterically crying, and I'm an ugly crier. And I'm just waving, and I'm just looking at my mom and my dad, and they're like the happiest humans in the world. Like, you must have thought my dad, at that moment, the Birds won the Super Bowl again because he was so happy. I've never seen him so happy in my life. And like I said, I had a very ugly acceptance, but it was so genuine, and everyone says that, and all the girls on the squad came up to me afterwards and was like, don't ever lose that. Like, I haven't seen a girl come out like that in a very long time. Like, don't lose how genuine you are. Don't lose how down to earth you are. Because like, obviously, I'm not going to pretend like I'm this pretty princess that is always perfect all the time, because that's not me. That's not who I am. And like I said, to hear my name and to have worked my whole life for this moment, it was unbelievable. Going on the field for the first time was literally the most amazing feeling in the absolute world. Every game, preparing to go on the field, I thought it would change. Like, oh, it'll start being easy. I get the same pit in my stomach. Butterflies, honestly, no. A whole zoo is exploded in my stomach, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, this is happening. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then you walk out on the field, and the whole crowd goes crazy, and we perform, and then we walk to make our tunnel lines, and there's a Meek Mill video that plays, and he's like talking to Philly, like hyping everybody up, and saying all this awesome stuff, and his song plays, and like, it is so hype. Like, the whole stadium goes crazy, and the players start running out, and that has to be my favorite thing, honestly, about Eagles, is performing on game day. The vibe, the fans. Home opener, your body was actually vibrating because it was so loud. It was awesome. Sometimes I forget that I am an Eagles cheerleader, and I think people forget that I'm not always an Eagles cheerleader. Like, I'm a normal, completely normal human, like a weirdo, actually. But like, going out and people actually recognizing you is bizarre. Like, they'll be like, oh my gosh, like, she's the Eagles cheerleader. And like, I'll have no makeup on in the grocery store, and I'll be trying to hide. Like, oh my God, don't look at me. Like, don't see me like this. Like, it's just weird. Like, I feel like I have to look my best all the time now. But at the same time, I actually do want people to know that I am a normal person. I don't know, people sometimes think we're celebrities, and we are, but like, I don't actually think that, like, about myself. Like, it's weird. I can't see myself as a celebrity. Like, I'm just living my dream. I'm enjoying what's happening in the now. But obviously, like, when people want like your autograph and stuff, I've also been practicing my signature since I was like 5, because I told my parents my name was gonna be written in lights someday because I was so dramatic. But to actually be signing my name on my face, so weird. It's cool, but it's so weird. And like, little girls look at you and you feel like $1 million. They make you feel like $1 million. Appearances alone with kids are just beautiful. And sometimes you go to these events and these appearances, and that's the closest these people are ever gonna be to the organization. They may never get to a game. They may never even be able to watch a game. You don't know if they have a TV at home or not. You know, a lot of the appearances that we do are different. So who knows the type of people you're gonna be interacting with. So your experience with that person and their experience with you, that interaction could be the closest thing they'll ever have. So you have to make it as special as you can. And to put that much pressure on one person to make sure they feel all the hype and excitement and awesomeness that the organization tries to push out, like we're part of that ray of sunshine. Like we have to sparkle it everywhere. It's crazy to think that little girls that are 5 years old all the way up to grown women who are 65 look at you and say you're such an inspiration. And you're thinking to yourself, how am I an inspiration to you? Like, how does that even make sense? And to know that they look at you and think, wow, if she can do it, I can do it. Every time we talk to any of our fans, male, female, old, young, they let us know that, like, they thank us. Like, thank you for being here. Thank you for coming. And it's like, thank me, thank you for having us. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this event or this appearance or this cause. To know that we're role models is crazy. These little girls, they come up to me and they're like, I got to take a picture in front of your locker. It's like, my locker? Like, what? You want to take a picture in front of my locker with my picture on it, with my name on it? It's crazy. It's crazy to think that these people of all ages are like thriving. They're so excited. They're so happy. They're so thankful. Like, you're a mentor. You're a role model. You're an inspiration. And then you sit back and you really open your eyes and you think about it. And you're like, yeah, we are. A lot of us have come from nothing. You know, we all have a story. We all have reasons why we're here, reasons why we're doing this, all 36 of us. So to know that each of us can relate to different people in a different way that makes us inspiring is beautiful. In order to even be qualified to be an Eagles cheerleader, you either need to have a full-time job or go to school full-time. They try to fill their squad with educated, empowered women. And I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to be one for so long. We have a lawyer on the team. We have nurses. We have teachers. We have girls that are going to school to be business women. Like, it's beautiful. It's amazing. Like, someday they're going to be CEOs of companies. It's so amazing to think that, yeah, we're cheerleaders. We wear these cute little outfits and we go out there, we work our butts off to perform a beautiful dance routine, and then we have to go home the next day and live a normal life and work our butts off at a different job. Whether it's, taking care of sick children or, in a courtroom or in a classroom teaching kids, the kids that are our future. I just feel like we're so much more than just a pretty face and a body that's in shape. We're giving back. We're giving back to the community. We're coming into contact with people. We're not just sitting there and we're dumb and we're in la la land. No, we're smart. We're really smart. We're educated. We know what we're talking about. The one time this guy was like, so Carson's playing today? And Carson was out with his injury. And we're like, no, it's Foles. Like, they try to catch you to see if you're stupid. And like, nope, we're not. We know what's happening in the game. We know who's being drafted. We know who's playing. Like, you can't trick us. Like, we're not just some stupid bunch of 36 girls. Like, no, we're awesome and we're empowered and we'll let you know it. So growing up, I had a lot of self-esteem issues. I feel like everyone goes through a point in time where, they're not okay with themselves and they're down on themselves for whatever reason. But I wish to myself now, if I could talk to how when I was little, whatever, like when I was sad and thought I wasn't enough, like, you are. Like, you're a rock star and you're killing it, and you have to just chase after your dreams and do what you feel is right in that moment. Because sometimes people aren't going to agree with your choices, and a lot of people didn't agree with mine. You're gonna not go to school right now and be an Eagles cheerleader. Like, don't you think that's not really an adult decision to make? No, actually, it's my decision. And I think that's really important, to like trust what your heart is telling you. Not always go with the outside perspective and what everyone says. Like literally follow your heart. I swear by it. Your heart will lead you down the path that you're supposed to be on. And I wish that when I was younger, I knew everything that I knew now. But that's why you don't, and you make mistakes and you mess up sometimes and you learn from them, and that's why you're so wise and you're able to give that advice to young girls, young kids. But I wish they would know that they are enough, and your dreams can always come true as long as you chase them. Like, you can make them happen. They're literally at the palm of your hands. Honestly, being injured made me who I am now, like I said before, but I don't know what I would say to my injured self. Because at the moment, everything that I would say, people were telling me, but I didn't want to believe it. So like, you know, it's gonna get better and you're gonna be okay. And you know, this is your destiny. You know, everything happens for a reason. Everyone told me that. Everything happens for a reason. Well, what is the reason? Because in that moment, you never know, and you're confused and you're frustrated and you hate when people say that. Everything happens for a reason. Well, what is the reason? Like, no one knows at the time. Now that I'm older and I'm looking back on it 7 years now, I think, 8 maybe, it's like, yeah, there was a reason. It made me into the person that I am. So I think if I had to go back and talk to my injured self, or people that are injured and feel like their dreams are now crushed all due to their injury, no, don't believe them. Don't believe that person inside of you that is telling you that you can't do it. Don't believe the doctors, don't believe anyone that's telling you that you can't really, because if you work your booty off, you can do whatever you want. And I strongly believe in that. If you work hard, and it's all about dedication. Like I said, I tried out for Eagles the first time and I didn't make it. And now I'm an Eagles cheerleader. That's crazy, that's bizarre. And it's because I didn't give up and I dedicated myself to chasing after that dream, that goal that I had, whether it be being a teacher or a doctor or a pro baseball player, whatever your dream is, make it a reality by just working hard, being determined.